You guys, if I say, what do you get when you get one Black queen and 7 medical school offers? Well, that will be my next guest. Welcome to the Yes Show, young, entertaining, and saved. I'm your host, LaCora Stevens, and I know it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step two. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Forgive me. You guys, I had to come on here because this is going to be a great episode. I've been taking a pause with the Yes Show so that I could focus on filmmaking. That's right. But I had to take a break, pause, because this show is going to be something wonderful. It's about our young, beautiful sisters in medicine. We have a young lady today who is doing some beautiful things. Not only is she a future physician, but she is also an entrepreneur and a boss. That's right. Not only does the Yes Show highlight young, entertaining, and save, but we also highlight young entrepreneurs that are saved. Everyone, please welcome my beautiful guest, Shami.
Thank you so much, LaCora, for having me today. I'm glad to be here.
I'm excited that you are here because this is new for me. You know, I'm always working. I used to be an educator, in case you don't know, and I always work with young kids, young adults, and some of my students are like grown-ups now. Okay. So to see a young lady like yourself about to venture into something huge, amazing, like the world of medicine, and know that you are a boss and entrepreneur with your company, we're going to get into that. So before we get into some of my questions, could you tell the audience about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Shami. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and I went to Spelman College for undergrad. I come from a family of 4. I have one sibling, my sister Naila. And after Spelman, at Spelman, I also crossed Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and among a lot of other different things. But I went to Columbia University to receive my master's in bioethics. And this year, currently, I'll be starting school at the David Geffen School of Medicine, not only in the Prime program, but also in the Drew program on a full scholarship.
Come on, Queen. And in case y'all don't know, that is located in California. So congratulations. I'm like, first of all, how did you do it, Shami? Okay, let's go even back more. Okay. How did you know you wanted to be in medicine? How did you know you wanted to be a doctor? When did that start? What was the catalyst?
So for me, I think it started when I was in high school. I actually shadowed my very first physician at the end of high school, and she was a Black woman. I was very intentional about that because I wanted to find a mentor in medicine that looked like me and had similar experiences as me. Mm-hmm. And when I went with her to one of her patients' room, it was a young adolescent Black boy. She had been taking care of him for about 8 years or so because he was 8 years old, and she was his pediatrician. But one day we walked in and he was like, "When am I going to see the doctor? I feel like I've been seeing you all this time and I haven't seen the doctor." And she was like, "Well, I am your doctor." He was like, "That's not true. Black people can't be doctors."
No.
Yes, it was the most disheartening moment I have ever experienced with her.
Oh my God.
And that was when I figured out, like, hey, I got to go into this field. I have to be representation for people who come from backgrounds like me so that they see that this is actually attainable. It's something that you can do. And when I was going through undergrad, I also had an affinity for working with underserved populations, similar to the one that I came from, the one that I cared for. A lot of people come from low income backgrounds and aren't able to necessarily get the resources they need from healthcare because of lack of access.
Yes.
So I really wanted to get into it to be able to help underserved communities and also be able to help them navigate kind of the bureaucracy of what healthcare has become today.
Yeah, especially the disparities. It's like, but we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that because a lot of people are like, oh, okay, let me slow down and go back. Because you just mentioned that this young boy did not believe that this Black woman was his doctor. We know that in America, 13% African American, only 3% served as doctors. And I am just elated that you are joining that force, especially with that, you know, the whole idea to serve your community, the underserved, so that they know I exist.
Mhm.
You can exist in this realm. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That is just so unbelievable to me, because even when I was a kid growing up in the 80s, I
Mhm.
knew of some Black doctors.
Mhm.
Hello, the Cosby Show. I just don't understand that. Like, who was this little boy and where did he
Right.
grow up? That is ridiculous to me. But not only are you focused on medicine,
Mhm.
not only are you focused on changing the lives and the ideology of young Black people,
Mhm.
you are also a boss and entrepreneur. You are doing things for other students like yourself to create, a way that they could have an open door for them. Can you let us know about your business?
Yes. So MD Me was actually started after I applied to medical school. I didn't feel like I had the right support. I kind of had to figure it out on my own as I went, look at a lot of different videos, YouTube, do a lot of research, and figure out how to best market myself as an applicant.
Mm.
I think once I figured that out and I started applying it to my applications, I could really see the fruit of my labor after I received multiple interviews from not just Cornell, from Duke, from Emory, from Mount Sinai.
Come on.
Then I started receiving acceptances. But I think that the most important thing to get from this whole experience was that I needed to create something for other people so that they could get the same help that I had to end up figuring out. Because I know there are so many other students who don't have pre-med offices at their colleges and universities, don't have the funding to receive help as a student. And a lot of companies out here are actually charging so much for students to receive help in editing, anywhere from 600 to the highest I've seen is $12,000 to look over
Shut
an application.
up. Not
Yes,
$12,000 to look over
$12,000
my application. Are
to
they
look it up. Well, they're
editing
looking
it?
it over and they're editing it, but $12,000 is the highest I've seen. $600 isn't even, that's nowhere near anything that someone who's coming from a family where they are struggling each week to come to work paycheck to paycheck to try to get, get things for their kids, get things for their family. So I created MD Me to really bridge the gap between low income communities and students who want to get into medical school but don't have $600 or $12,000 to throw away towards an editing service. A lot of my services are actually cheaper, very cheap, when it comes to getting the help that they need. Everything is really below like $200, $100. The lowest I have is, I think, $10 for something like it. I want to make it affordable. I want to make it that it's accessible to any and everyone,
Yeah.
regardless of socioeconomic status.
Come on, Black Queen. I love this. From our young minds, everyone, if you are watching right now, you are tuned into the Yes Show. And we are highlighting this wonderful young lady. She is an entrepreneur. She is also a future physician. And her business is called MD Me. Now, there are some companies out there, like you said, that they charge these crazy amounts of dollars. Is there anything else different about your company, your business from the others outside of the financial?
Yes. So a lot of other companies actually utilize physicians as their editors, but also in being a previous editor at Columbia University for the Bioethics Journal, we got a lot of submissions from physicians, from PhDs. And just because you're a physician doesn't necessarily mean you know how to write. And it also doesn't mean that you know how to write for an application. Some of the physicians could actually be very far removed from this process. When I was trying to actually solicit the help of different doctors that I knew, they admittedly told me like, hey, I haven't applied to school in 50 years, 20 years. There's nothing I can really tell you because what I know is now since gone.
Wow.
So really what students and applicants really need is someone who just went through the process, students who've just gone through the process within the last 2-3 years and know how it goes, what things to make sure they highlight so that they are marketable to schools and that they get their scholarship. But to also know that the person looking at it is somebody who actually has gotten into medical school from the same principles that they're applying to their application.
Exactly. And I know that you have some goals, honey, already. As a young woman, you have some great goals. What is the ultimate goal of your company, MD Me?
The ultimate goal is for me to really be able to see the population of physicians that are practicing in healthcare to look similar to what our current US population looks like, as far as the number of African Americans, as far as the number of Latinx community members, as far as the number of gay and transgender and transsexual individuals. There just needs to be a lot more representation. And I think by creating or lessening this barrier as far as finances, it's one step closer to doing that.
I don't think I've ever seen like a transgender doctor. Are y'all out there? Where are the transgender doctors? I don't think I've ever seen that in my life, not in real life, not on television, not in movies. That's interesting. Wow. All right. Okay. So let's talk. I have another question for you. Since you're doing so many things, I know people are like, okay, I want this service. Does she have any books? Where can I find out more information? Where can they go to find out information in your book service and book services from you?
Okay. So basically, you all can go to www.mdme404.com. That's our website. Our Instagram page is mdme404. And you can book services through the website. The Instagram page just really walks applicants through some of the things that we have on our website. Mm-hmm. We also have ebooks listed on our website now at a discount, especially because it is application season. One of the current PDFs that's up there is one that walks you through the whole primary application, things to do to prepare yourself before you submit. Another PDF up there is for our younger listeners, people who are in high school, people who are trying to create their path to medicine. It's actually an ebook for pre-health professionals. It walks you through what things to look out for when you're shadowing, what things to keep track of while you're shadowing future healthcare professionals and physicians. And it makes it so that it's easier for you to just be in that moment and then later reflect on it so that when you're applying to these schools, you have something to refer back to.
Awesome. Now, I know one thing about the Yes Show is we're God-centered. And I know what you are doing takes a lot of time, energy, patience, hard work, perseverance, tenacity, determination. Girl, you need it all. So right. God has to be on your side. And I'm wondering because, when I was preparing for this interview, I was looking at a lot of different, female doctors, especially. They talk about the different challenges that they have from stress to sleep deprivation, to nutrition, not eating enough because you're so busy, you're so focused as a junior doctor on your residency. It's just so much. With the challenges that you have had and that you may experience, how does faith align with keeping you on the straight and narrow?
Well, for me, I think faith definitely plays a heavy role in where I am and where I will go. For me, I speak to God, not just in church, but also when I am just walking, when I'm just existing. I think it's important for me to have someone to talk through all of these issues with, especially when on a daily basis, I'm kind of constantly being hit with things in class that may be racist, things that may just be inequitable, things I don't necessarily agree with. And sometimes I have to take a step back, reflect, speak to God, and really try to understand what I can give to this conversation, to this space, to this field, to show people that what they're doing and what they're saying may not be or isn't the right way to talk about underserved communities or disadvantaged people. So faith has played a huge role. I think that it will continue to play a role. I just really value being able to speak to God. And I think that in doing the services that I have been able to do, hopefully he is speaking through me.
So you've actually encountered racism and racial statements and epithets like this is something you've experienced already at a young age, and you're not even in the school yet?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, really, it came from shadowing, being at hospitals, people assuming that I was either not there to be shadowing a physician, or I was a nurse, or I was the help, or it just didn't feel right to be asked some of the questions that I was asked, but I definitely made it clear that no, actually, I'm a pre-med student. I'm going to become a physician. And once I did get into medical school, now I'm very intentional about correcting people when they say, oh, you're going to be a nurse. No, I'm going to be a doctor. Because sometimes I think like nurses, and kudos to nurses, they do a lot of work when it comes to healthcare, a lot of work. I think that sometimes they can really get the services that they do provide, they get overlooked and they don't get as much appreciation.
Right.
But I don't feel like equating a woman, a Black woman, to being a nurse when she just told you she's going to be a doctor is fair, right? So I correct people when they kind of get it wrong. Maybe it's intentional or unintentional, but I still correct the person.
No, let me tell you, like recently, I think about 4 months ago, there was a local politician who refused to address this young Black woman as a doctor. She told him over and over again, I'm a doctor, and it's out there. I think they're almost at 500,000 views at this point, but he refused to call her doctor. And it is just ridiculous that the things that we go through, that we experience, honey, maybe there needs to be some scrubs, you know, that say, I'm not the nurse, I'm the doctor. You know what I mean? I don't know, a t-shirt or something, but this is just ridiculous. I love what you're doing. I commend you. I honor you for what you're doing. Is there anything else that you would like to share to our viewers watching?
Yes, for anybody out there who wants to apply to medical school and may not know how to do it, may not know the right steps to take, please come talk to us. Even if you feel like there are some things you can't afford, I am willing to just talk to you. I can mentor you, whatever you need. I just want to see more Black people, more minorities, more disadvantaged populations become physicians. It's super important that we have representation. And honestly, from just seeing the study that came out about African-American women and how if they have a physician that is race concordant, meaning a Black physician when there's a Black patient, the child is 3 times more likely to survive.
5.
That's in and of itself means that we need more Black physicians. We need more people of representation, not only for other little kids to see, but also for the health and the benefit of our population.
And the safety of our Black women, because even in New York, the stakes are 4 times higher of you dying if you are a Black woman during childbirth, if you don't have a Black physician. Listen, I love my Black people. And one thing that I will always look for, one thing that I would always uplift and promote and advocate for are Black professionals, Black people doing the doggone thing. And you, young lady, Miss Shami-Iyabo Mitchell, are doing some beautiful things. And I salute you. I am proud of you. If you are out there watching right now, make sure you share this video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you book her services. And make sure you follow and subscribe. Comment below. Let us know that you like this video, and we will see you next time. And remember, you guys, are you using your talent to glorify God? I hope so, child. I hope so. Even if you in a room like old Shami cutting up some people. Well, I'm not cutting up people like that, but you know what I mean. Helping them in their health. Are you using that to glorify God? All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. I am your host, LaCora Stevens, and I will see you on our next show. Bye. Hello, YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Yes Show channel. But remember, you guys, we have more. So go down and search our channel. But before you do that, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell. I'm your host, LaCora Stevens, and I would love to see more of you. Thank you, guys.